Hello, welcome to October Rose Fibre Art, episode 6, a little bit of a podcast on what I've been working on in the last fortnight. Today I have some quilts, I have some knitting, and I have some crocheting. My name's Fiona, I live in the beautiful Hunter Valley with my family, and I am a multi-crafter. I have a go at any craft that I can possibly get my hands on, and I'm here to share that with you today. First of all, I'm going to show you my quilts to begin with, then I'm going to show you my knitting, then I'm going to show my crocheting, and then talk about some future plans. So my first thing that I'm going to show, and it's one that I've shown here before, everything has just fallen on the floor off my table, so it's one I've shown on here before, my quilts that I did for as a workshop with Gloria Loftman. It was a workshop where we learned how to paint fabrics, and we did an Australian landscape. So this was what I've done. I'll go back and get most of that in. And I'm almost finished. This will be the last time I show it though, but I am just on to putting the facing on the back, and I just need to sew. I've sewn that much down. I just need to sew around the rest of it. So that's going to be my nighttime project for the next few nights to get that done. But I'm so excited that I will soon, it will go in my quilt show, which I've spoken about a lot, go in my quilt show in September, at the end of September, and then I'll be hanging that up on my wall in my studio, well in my craft room here, which I'm really excited about. So finished. I think last time I showed it, I'd done a lot of the quilting already. I had the tree to finish off, and I spoke about down the bottom here. I really wanted to do some pebbling along the bottom here, but my little machine that I really love to free motion on really needs a service. I haven't actually used it for about 2 or 3 years, so I didn't want to get it out and use it so I'm gonna put it in to be serviced in the near future. In the meantime, I just did straight lines. Hopefully that's showing up okay. I still left in my landscape my mountains and my water without quilting because I wanted them to be really still, and then I wanted to have lots of texture up the top. And in the tree, I had lots of fun going backwards and forwards, getting some details in on that tree there, and then in those leaves to try and use the quilting on the quilt to show some movement in it. And I love it. I think it's great. I will say they're not the colors that I usually go for. I'm more of a blue kind of person. But I really, really like this. It's turned out really well. It's a lot better than I expected. I will say, I had a moment. So when we did the workshop, the Gloria was like, you just do a top stitch, or what's it, an understitch on the facing, and it will help it fold backwards. So I did an understitch. I did it on the inside seam, not realizing that I should have understitched along here and included that as well. And then one of the ladies, I did it when I was at craft group last weekend. We had an extra craft group so that we could work on some of our projects ready for our show. One of the ladies was like, are you going to understitch this? And I was like, I didn't do it correctly. She showed me hers, and I knew exactly. As soon as I saw it, I knew the mistake that I made. And I just thought, by that stage, I had mited these corners, which I will say took me a little while to work out how to do. And I was like, I am not undoing all these corners to understitch it. It's just going to have to be how it is. Now, the understitching is just to try and help so that this, I'll show you on this side because I haven't stitched this side down, just so that this facing sits underneath it so you don't actually see it on your quilt. I've sewn it along the top, and you can see a little bit of a peak there, but I think what I'm going to do is just really get in and iron it and steam it as flat as I can once I completely stitch it down. And I've been trying to just pull the facing over enough when I'm stitching it that it's pulling that into place. So for my first attempt, I've learned, I know my mistake for next time, and I'll be able to adjust that next time I do a quilt like this. But for my first attempt, I love it. It's great. It's going to look amazing in my house, on my wall. So that's that one. If you get a chance to do a workshop with Gloria Loftman, I would recommend it. She was a wonderful teacher, really, really patient, even when I didn't know what to do. So it was really good. I would recommend that. Now, another one I've been talking about quite a lot is my secret quilt. Now, we were meant to go down to Newcastle for rugby this morning for a makeup game. It's Sunday the 17th? Yeah, 17th of August. We were meant to go down for a makeup game, and which would have meant a whole weekend of rugby, which we would have loved. My son was a bit disappointed that it got called off. They've had a lot more rain than us. We're still a bit, everything's damp at the moment, it's weird because I've been like watching some other podcasts on YouTube, and they're talking about how dry it is and drought conditions, and we have had quite a lot of rain lately, which has been good for us, but everything's very wet. Anyway, the rugby got called off, so we were up and ready. So I've hooked in. I've got lots of washing done today, which has been really, really helpful. The sun is shining here, so whilst we're home and the sun is shining, I'm going to get the washing done. We've got a family of 5, so we do quite a lot of washing. And I thought, well, what am I going to do? I've got my secret quilt that I've spoken about a couple of times on some episodes. I'm not going to show too much of it. I'm going to show you the back of it today. I want it ready for my quilt show, for a big reveal at the show. But I got it back from the quilter the other day, and I got my binding on this morning. I still have to stitch it down, but I'm using this Chula pink fabric. It's a tiny dot. This is the back of the quilt. And I don't know if it's going to come up on camera, but it's got like a heart pattern quilted all over it, which is just lovely. This is my first time doing it. I was watching, I think it was a Chula Tuesday. If I'm incorrect with that, I watched it somewhere on YouTube where they said when they bind quilts, whoever it was that was talking, whenever they bind quilts, they use bias binding because then it moves with the quilt a little bit more and makes it not wavy. I thought that's a fantastic idea. So for this quilt, I've done some bias binding in the dot. I actually used this fabric. I did a felted hat workshop last year, June last year, I think it was. It was so fun. And I used this fabric to go around my hat. I might go and get it. Okay, so this is my felted hat. And you can see there I've used that tiny dot on the brim as well. I love doing this workshop. Move my hair down. I wear this out in the garden quite a lot. It's really, it's really warm, really comfortable, and keeps the sun off my face. I do like this hat. I would recommend doing a felted hat workshop as well. I had a great time doing it. Because I had to cut it on the bias to go around the brim of the hat and the corner of the hat so it would like melt into it a bit better. I already had it cut on the bias, so I thought, well, why not use it? Use it as bias binding, give it a go, and I'm just going to put my hair up again. See how I go with that. It's working out really good. I might write a blog post on this on my website. So you can machine sew the binding down entirely, and I do that method regularly. If I have a quilt that I want to get done fairly quickly, that is the method that I will go for. Generally only takes me a few hours with the machine. It gives a really nice finish. However, for this quilt, I really wanted, I might be a bit old fashioned, but I love stitching it down. I think there's nothing cozier than, you know, a cooler night sitting under a quilt, stitching, binding down. So I've sewn it to the front of the quilt, and then I will fold it down and hand stitch along here. 6 of one, half dozen of the other. Both methods are really effective. I enjoy the hand stitching. Like, I feel like that's one step of the process that I really do like to do when I've got the time, and I like making the time to do it. So for this one, I didn't want to take that step away, and so I'm hand stitching this one down, and I'm really, really looking forward to it. It'll probably take me a week, every night this week. If I sit down and do a little bit, I'll get it done hopefully by next weekend, and then that one will be ready to go into the show as well. I'm looking forward to that. As I said, I quite enjoy hand stitching binding. A little bit of a sneak peek there. So it'll be good. Okay, I've got some knitting now, and I'm really excited to show this. I might need to adjust my hair again for this. I pattern tested, and if you've been watching a few of my episodes of my channel, I did a little quick video on this one last week. So I pattern tested the homie beanie for Vera Marku. It's lovely. The pattern is out. It came out yesterday, so hopefully if I get this edited and up tonight. The pattern came out yesterday. It is meant to be slouchy. There's quite a lot of slouch there. I will say, now it does have a bit of slouch, but I'm going to fold the brim up, I think, when I wear it, and that'll make it not quite as slouchy and just give my ears, I like that amount of slouch, I think. The pattern is beautifully written. Once you read through it, it's really easy to follow. I used a 5mm needle. The recommended was a 4.5, which is why mine is a bit slouchier. I was measuring, and I was hitting gauge, and I think even when I block it, I think it might get a bit slouchier again. But again, I'll fold the brim up. It's lovely. The wool is from Bendigo Woolen Mills. It is their luxury 10 ply. And I had this left over from a jumper that I knit. I also did an amigurumi dinosaur for my son for Christmas. So it was left over. I had a bit left over from that. And this is the same wool. I did 2. This one is for my daughter. They haven't been blocked yet. I'll be honest, I don't really block beanies as much as I should. I figure once we've got them on our heads, that'll help block it anyway. She wanted one. My boys still want one each, so I might still have 2 more of these in the future. I didn't do the full repeats for this one just because she didn't want it as slouchy. So I did the first repeat of the pattern. I did the second, but then I didn't do the full second repeat. As soon as I did this yellow, I started to decrease for the crown. She loves it, fits her head. I said to her before, hey, can you go get that beanie? I'm going to do my video for this fortnight. She come out with one on her head and one on her hand, and hey mum, you've made me a couple. Which one would you like? And I said, oh, this one please. But no, she loves it. The boys want I think she wants a pom-pom on the top, so I've got some multicolored fur somewhere. I'll be able to find that today, and we might look at making some pom-poms. If I get some time and make some spares, I'll put them up on the website as well. So 2 finished objects, 2 homie beanies, pattern by Vera Marku. Really fun, weekend knit. Yeah, I think I'm going to do either a blue one with a grey stripe for one of the boys, and then I think I might not have enough to do another one. Either that, I might be able to get a yellow one with a blue stripe. I'll weigh my yarn and just work out. So there could be 2 more of those in my future because the kids all like them, which is really good. I love it when they love things that I knit and they're asking for me to make things for them. I think that's wonderful. Okay. Not a finished object here, just a work in progress. I just thought I would show this because I had showed it previously and I wanted to show my progress on it. I showed this last time and I think I was maybe halfway through the cuff. This is just a pair of socks. I have 2 cuffs. I have a fair bit of I love this, how that's giving like a little stripe there. Okay, so a bit of the leg done on this one. This is my take it to sport, take it to appointments, and I've managed to get a little bit done. So very happy with that. I'm just doing, I'm not really, I would say I follow there's a Stephen West basic sock pattern, which is free on his website, that I kind of get my numbers off, but then I change it when I get to the heel. I don't do the same heel. I do use 76 stitches just because that I've got a really big foot. I've said that a number of times as well, and that fits my foot quite well, and it's really comfortable. And then I just kind of mix together. I like doing an eye of partridge heel. The heel that he's got in the pattern is just a garter stitch heel. I like an eye of partridge heel, so I usually follow that. And I got the instructions from that from a book that I borrowed from the library. So I have a photo of that on my phone. I just follow that every time that I do it. And they're comfortable. It's the exact same as ones that I've done before. I'm just going to do the same because I know that I like them. I think my next pair of, well, actually, I've got plans for 2 or 3 pairs of socks after these, and I will be doing it's something a bit fancier. So just not a vanilla sock. I think I really want to sort of start, I want to try to do a new technique. I've done cables before in socks, so I'll have a go at that. This is, I hand wind my yarn. I actually find it really quite relaxing and fun. So I do that, and I do it so that I can pull from the center and the outside, and it's worked out fine. So this was the skein that I got from Craft by Bella, and I'm doing that for my sock. I've got a skein that I've put away for my next sock, which is from one of my dye lots, my own dye lots. I do hand dyed yarn. There's some available on my website, so octoberrosefiberart.com.au. So if you want to jump on and have a look, and while I'm saying that, I will say thank you to everyone that bought a skein of yarn in the sale. The last of those will be in the post on tomorrow, Monday, and hopefully you'll be receiving those soon. That was really, really lovely. The weather is starting to warm up here, so I will be getting the dye pots out again. I put them away over winter only because it was so cold. I didn't want to be having to have heaters on to be drying the yarn, so I will be starting again soon, very, very soon. In the next, I think next week's meant to be cold. I've got to put in an order for some bare yarn, and then I will be getting some in. I've already got some orders from some friends of mine for yarn that they want, so I'll be getting that done as well. Okay, some crochet projects now, and I've shown this one before, but I've done a fair bit of progress. So this is my dainty drawstring bag. It was from a Crate Crochet subscription. I think I read 2021, and it's been in my stash. I haven't made it, so I pulled it out the other day and thought I've got to start getting some of these things finished. I subscribed to that just after I had when I had my kids, because I was at the point in my life where I just couldn't think of yarn and patterns, and I really enjoyed having something show up. The yarn was in it, the pattern was in it, the kids loved the lollies, so it was really nice. And I've had a few that I didn't get done in the month that they came, so I'm trying to catch up on those. So I've still got this like seashell pattern. I've still got probably about 30 rows or so of that to do. But I'm liking it. It's going to look really nice. It's sort of starting to, I'm going to say, curl up and look like a bag. I don't know what I'm going to do with that once I finish it, whether I keep it for myself or whether I gift it. We'll wait and see. I only really work on it of a night time when I'm supervising the kids in the bath, and it's working out well for us. It's in this Fiddlesticks yarn. It's cedar. It's 60% bamboo, 40% cotton. It's really nice to work with. I have enjoyed working with that a lot, to be honest. It's nice and soft, and I think that bag will turn out quite lovely. So that's one of my other works in progress. Again though, it only gets 20 minutes, half an hour of a night, whilst I'm sitting there with the kids in the bath. And it's good. I keep it in the bathroom, in the cupboard, and I know that it's there. I if maybe in a couple of weeks when I've got a few other things finished, I might just set that as a focus project. But in the meantime, whilst I'm ticking along on it, I might as well keep it where it is and do what I'm doing. Another crochet project, I've actually been working on this, not a lot, but I've gotten a few rows in. And it's one that I showed a couple of podcasts ago. It did get pushed aside a little bit because I was working on my jumper that I showed as a finished object in the last podcast. And I got it back out and did a few rows the other night. I was like, oh, this is so nice. So it's my Harbour Crochet Along. I'm on to the third week of colours. And I've managed to do from about this blue here under the red up into there. So what's that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. About six rows I've gotten done on that this week. I find crocheting really easy to pick up and put down, especially if it's something like this where it's just a repeating pattern. The pattern's in my head, so I don't have to go back and check anything. I might get in and do a few rows probably this afternoon while I sit down and watch some TV with the kids. But yeah, otherwise I've been really enjoying working on this. I've done a number of these blankets. This is the last one that I'll probably do for a little while. It's for my son. Once I finish this, I've got a stash buster project that I am halfway through, and I will use the leftover yarn from this to finish that. The yarn that I've used for that was left over from the Coastal Crochet Along that I did for my other son, so the colours will match in really nicely, I think, and I'll be able to get that finished and give it to him. As I think I said in one of my other podcasts, I'm not in a hurry. We've still got some cooler nights. Probably aim to have it done by the end of October, only because by then it'll start getting really hot and I'll be moving towards summer projects, which leads me to a thought. Let me know whether you have things that you save for summer and things that you save for winter. So I know for me, blankets, binding are all sort of my more winter projects, because it becomes quite hot having them sitting on your lap while you're trying to work on them. And I quite often will move into maybe like granny squares if I'm crocheting. Socks will be an ongoing project over the summer. I might sew some quilt tops, but again, I pick my times. I'll sew the blocks while it's cooler, and then while it's hotter, and then if I need a cooler project, of a morning, if I need to get the top of the quilt together, I'll sit under it and do that then, only because we get to 40 degrees here quite regularly in summertime, so it's quite hot. So that will be put away. If it's not finished by October, I might put it away. Otherwise, I might do what I did at the beginning of this year and make it my focus project in January, and just try and smash it out. Hopefully I've got it done by then though. I'm really enjoying it, so I can't imagine me not getting a number of rows done on it. So we'll wait and see. I have my notes. Let me see. So my plans for the next fortnight. So you've got a bit of an idea of what you might get into when you tune in again next fortnight. I'm keeping this in the bag the wool came in. I'm very bad at sharing these things. For those big ones, I don't have a project bag big enough. Maybe I need to put that on my to make list for next fortnight, hey? So I just keep them in that bag. Then I can see where I'm up to and it's easy to pull out. I'll show you this one. I've shown it before. That's what I keep my socks in. I am going to, I think I might have a go at making another couple today. We'll see. I've gotten some time back because we haven't been to rugby today. So plans for the next fortnight, I've written it down so that I don't forget. Definitely plans, I need to get the binding on those two quilts. So I dare say that will be the majority of my week. So next fortnight might be quite a small podcast. I've got another one coming from a quilter. which I want to put in the show as well. So I need to get the binding on that. So that will be a focus project for the next 2 weeks. And then we have a stall at the quilt show every year. And I'm thinking I want to make some project bags to put on the stall there. I think I'm going to try and make a few more like this. I think I'm going to tweak the design because I would really like either a pocket on the inside with a zip so that I can put my stitch markers in it, or a pocket on the front here. So I might, if I get some time, if the kids are settled this afternoon, I might play around with that. We'll see. Project bags are definitely on my list of things to get done in the next 6 weeks, because I'll do some for the website and then I'll also do some for the quilt show as well. Other than that, I don't have any immediate deadlines, so which is always kind of nice. I'm feeling very relaxed at the moment. Even with my day job as well, I don't have any. I've got deadlines coming up, but they're all things that if I work slowly on, I should be able to achieve. So if I just do a little bit every day, I should be able to achieve all of these deadlines that I've got coming up, which is actually a really nice feeling for a change. With the change in weather as well, I wouldn't mind sewing myself some clothes. I'm going to see, I've got some fabric that I bought a while ago. I might try, and I've actually got a top cut out ready to sew. I just need to get in and sew it. So if I can get the kids in bed early one night, I might even sit down and do that. But other than that, I'm sure I will be doing some cleaning and I'm sure something will pop up and I'll go, oh, this needs to be done. But at the moment, no immediate deadlines, which feels really nice. Anyway, thank you for joining me today for this episode, and hopefully you've enjoyed it. Don't forget to subscribe and like, because everything helps my channel out. And let me know what you're working on. Let me know how you prefer to do your binding, because I'm really interested on that one. And yeah, just let me know how you're going. That'd be great. Thanks for watching.